I want to reiterate. We have, according to the Act, one federation or association. We will never have two. In boxing, we all know that there's amateur and professional, but all under one boxing federation or association. So whatever is happening, I ask the chairman of council and the general secretary to harmonize, but what I cannot accept is to have one professional boxing assume that they are a federation or association. No, they remain under one body, and that's the law. So the role of who is who, no, that one I want to be categorical. As per the law we have today, going forward, Uganda Boxing Federation will work as Uganda Boxing Federation. For purpose of professional and amateur, that is a subdivision within one word. Federation. So how they are going to resolve it, to agree with it, that's the role of council. And it's the reason we have council. The other issue, which again I think you brought forward, was on the issue of, the other question which I recall off CAF was on the issue of what? Of federation, association. Friends, I want to be honest, if you don't meet the criteria, you forgive us. We consulted you. We are only here now to begin to execute the laws, because the truth is we also want a governed sports body. And you can imagine we have been with that law from 1964 to which date now, which I want to say, maybe up to the commencement date, up to, no, we have been operating that law for almost 50 years. The world has evolved, and particularly the sports sector is so dynamic and keeps on changing every day. So I want to request our good friends out there, we thank you, and I want to ask the General Secretary and the entire chairperson of council and commissioner here, we must come out to go and explain this law to the public so that the public appreciates what we are talking about. For instance, like the council said there, you are a promoter of sport, you are an agent of sport, we are what again? So all this, we want to have them registered. So we can't allow you to operate when we don't know where your address is and who you are. So this is the law as of now. We will also talk about the other side of why we want them registered. And all this came from the consultation when we were coming up with this law. I thank you.
One, I want to mention that this new sports law that we're working with has clearly mentioned the 50 sports disciplines that the country of Uganda has chosen it will continue to participate in or to continue to have for its citizens. And the minister is the one with the powers to allow a new sports discipline or one that continues to be in a country to be a sports discipline. So there are 50 sports disciplines. So that is very different from the sports federations. The law first clears out what Uganda as a country will participate in as far as sports is concerned. Then later on, that's when it addresses that body, which is, I may say independent body, which body or what body that government entrusts with promoting that sport, and at what level, whether it meets a threshold of a federation or it just meets a threshold of an association. So those are two different things. Uganda chooses which sports disciplines it as a country or us as a country want to participate in, and those are clear. By you failing, or as an entity failing to measure up as a federation, does not mean that Uganda will not have that as a sport. We will not strike that one off. What it means is, you need to work if you still have to get registered, or if there's another body that is ready to meet the threshold, then. But the law is also clear that it allows for transition of the existing federation and sports associations to measure up to what has now been cleared up in the SI instrument to show you how you could now be registered as a national sports association or federation. So our hope is that all the national sports associations and federations that have been operating should be able to measure up. But also what the law is trying to prohibit, in a sense, is that you register as an association or federation and stop promoting the sport. You stay around Kampala, you don't go to the extents of the country to tap the talent and also for, to allow the Ugandans in the different corners of the country to enjoy the benefits of participating in the different sports disciplines that Uganda has chosen as its sports discipline. But also this same schedule that is within the law allows the schools, the secondary school and primary school sports, choose which sports discipline they now talk about as the 15 sports discipline that they will participate in. For example, a school will not say, for us we are doing dodgeball, which all of us played when we were kids, but it's not in the schedule of the sports disciplines that Uganda participates in. So the schools will be obliged to look into, through the 50 sports disciplines and say, okay, we are picking these 15. That's what speaks to us as a school. That's what we're able to provide for. And there's also that other aspect of secondary school and primary school sports. So I wanted to clarify, because more often than not, Honorable Minister, we see these sports leaders go out there and say, this sport is going to die in the country. We are saying it's not going to die. You try and measure up, but still Uganda will choose these sports disciplines to continue working in the country. So what we hope is that they will measure up. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Chairman.
Section 7 was anchored on the mission on and in line with the mandate of National Council of Sports. If I'm to remind you, the mandate of the mission of National Council of Sports is that maximizing opportunities for all Ugandans to participate and excel in. Now that is where the law was anchored. Now, you are also aware, and you have complained severally, that there are briefcase federations and associations.
Yeah.
And you ask us at one time here in the forum, when one of the federation leaders said that there are about 27 federations who are briefcase. They don't have office, but we are continuing to give them money. You challenge us. Now you are forgetting that this is an issue and a concern, not only from the public, but a concern that you and us should address. So to make it very clear, Honourable Minister, refer whoever is challenging the decision of government on the mission and mandate. National Council of Sports was established by an act of parliament on behalf of government. So that is a mandate. So if the federation today comes and tells you, we don't have money to go, you tell them they don't deserve to be a national federation or association. Because the mission of government is to expand and allow Ugandans to participate and excel. The other aspect, which is already cleared by my chairman very, very elaborately, is that, like the minister read in section 7, 1 and 2, there is a provision in the same, if I'm to take you, under section 8, I read in verbatim, membership of national sports organizations. A national sports organization shall define its membership in its respective constitution. Constitution. Now, UPBC is mentioned as a member in the constitution of Uganda Boxing Federation. Now, in the constitution, they should therefore subscribe. What is an issue? The issue is how they are relating in implementing their missions and objectives, which is not our role. It is the role of the federation. So it's an internal matter that you can advise the parties. And I want to say this law is very good because take care of amateur and professional, like the minister mentioned. So go back and educate them. Thank you very much.
We will be moving to all parts of the country to simplify and explain the SI and the Sports Act to the country to understand what the law is all about. Like I did say earlier on, in as far as sports stakeholders are concerned, all the 51 were consulted. And I want to say this. Whatever is here is what we agreed on. After the consultation, not once, not twice, we went to Parliament. Parliament also went through the rigorous legal process of even inviting the general public to come and give in their views in as far as the enactment of the law is concerned, because that's procedure. Now, to come back to the questions, I want to say this. When we talk about the presence of 75%, I think I need us to give some key examples so that it helps us to understand. For instance, I have a sport called the Kabaddi, which I know most of you know. That's Kabaddi. In my own area where I come from, is Kabaddi practiced? Eh? I'm coming to each of these. So when we talk about presence of a district, because the law was envisaging that we must have 75% of your present. Present must mean that you must be active.
Exactly that.
Let me simplify that in that manner.
What is the word? Active
You must be active in 75%
of the district.
of the district. Chairman is a mathematician. How many districts, to be factual?
Out of 149.
About out of 100 and what? 46?
49. How many? 149.
149.
So, to be factual, we are dealing with a certain number. Now, we are dealing with your presence in 112 districts. Why are we saying this? This federation and association have a role in terms of talent identification and development. Like Doctor said, the mission of National Council of Sports, all
Maximizing opportunities for
All
Ugandans
Ugandans.
to participate and excel in sports.
So we cannot only sit here and pretend that each and everything is going on here well. No. Like Chairman did say, okay, we are not saying that we are taking away the 50, but your participation and your role might be limited. Remember now the pressure actually comes to me as government. Within this law, any team which qualifies for national competition is the role of government. Like now I can talk about the cranes. It's government which puts in money to support FUFA and particularly to support the federation for purpose of the national team competition. Uganda Athletics Federation, name them. Uganda Basketball, Uganda Cricket, name them. So I hope I'm clear that when we talk about 57 our present, it should active. 50, it should be active. So this one is going to help us even to come back to community associations, to community sport, which is also properly. The issues of the trust, I leave that to the lawyers, will help me to explain that. What is the role of government? Please, I want to be honest here. First of all, this very legislation is the role of government, and we've been defined clearly in the law. Number two, you're talking about infrastructure. What it is true, we are doing it, and we continue to invest heavily in infrastructure development, but also I call upon the private sector, and I commend HAM, I commend the proprietor of Chitende, that is who, Dr. Mulindwa. I commend Right Honorable Anita Among, because I know she has put up a facilities, and many others whom I might not be able to mention here, for their investment in the sports facilities. And we can now see government will work with them. Actually, Honorable Poroti Shagi, I commend him, and I also want to commend the proprietor of this school, which is doing well in football in Masaka. It's called what? There's this school called the...
Masaka SS.
No, there's a school there which is almost more of an academy, which is Shimanya. I commend them. So, and others, which other question, let me ask my other people. Accountability, Dr. Gwel will talk about, but I want to reiterate. His accounting officer is here. I want to reiterate to friends out there that we are sorry that we are actually beginning from where we stopped. We are going to be much more thorough. The new law actually now gives us even a mandate, National Council of Sports, to also know how much revenue they receive from international federations. This is now the law. Before, we used to give, but now, we are also asking you, but with due respect, FIFA sent you grants. How much have you got from FIFA, How much have you got from FIBA? How much have you got from World Athletics? How much have you got from IBA, International Boxing Federation? So now, when we're also coming into, it is now mandatory, it's no longer at leverage. So these are the things, and by the way, I'm happy with this. All this came under consultation. So there's nothing this federation, that association don't know. I think, Chairman, I will need us to have another meeting with all federations, because normally I used to have quarterly under the old SI. Now, I want us to have that one, so that, and I think should be within a week's time. Let's have that meeting either here, so that we now also communicate to them that finally, here we are. I thank you. So any of you feel free, but the issue of the commissioner is here first.
Registration for national sports federations and national sports associations is annual. Every year we register. So if you fail to meet June, you will come the next year. You have a whole year to come for registration. But even if you meet June, you still have to maintain your presence and activity in those districts. So don't go there and create a bit of activity, then disappear thereafter. So the law has been drafted in a sense that there has to be perpetual activity of that sport in the districts. So that's why the registration is annual. So we give you that annual registration. If you go and stop and think that now you have the registration and go and sleep, then by the next year, we go to the districts, you are not there, we are saying you don't measure up. Please pull up your socks, continue working. So if you miss June 20th, you have a whole year, to work, okay? But we are saying, let's start the work now. This is not a failed test. This law has been here. I don't want everyone to blame the minister that he has come with an SI. No, the law has been very clear from 2024 when it was enacted to actually 2023, then later on, September. So we have always read this, and we knew this was coming. So let's keep working. Let's keep supporting one another. As National Council of Sports, we are there to support sport development in the country, but also we don't want to lie to our people that we are helping them participate in different sports disciplines when we're not doing it. So let's be very honest about our position and the level of growth. Thank you.
Like now, as